So I got a quick and fun booster box opening planned for today, and it's going to be the Dark Illusion set. That's got 24 packs in it, just like all the other sets, but this actually has a foil in every pack. And this set is kind of the Dark Magician support set, I guess you could call, where it's pretty much just got a bunch of cards in it that are to help the Dark Magician archetype. And then we've got Yugioh here to help us with getting all the cool Dark Magician cards. So this set's pretty cool. It's only like 50 or 60 bucks to buy it right now. It was a lot more than that, but then a specific seller just started selling off these boxes like mad. The reason why they used to be like, over 100 bucks each, and a lot of the reason for that was because they were just hard to find. And then one seller just started selling off boxes of these like crazy, and the prices dropped down because he was just auctioning off every box. So you can pick these up for 50 or 60 bucks easy right now. And the cards that you want to get are pretty much the secret rares from this set. Nothing in this is really all that valuable. Dark Magical Circle and Magician Navigation used to be fairly valuable cards, like 15 or so bucks each. But then once the reprints of those cards came out, their value just dropped. Oh, and this set's got the Pendulum cards. Ooh, Tomb Dark Magician. That's really cool. So that's a good one to get. It's similar to like the Toon Blue Eyes White Dragon, although nowhere near as valuable, obviously, but still really cool. And every time you get a Toon, always have to think of Pegasus whenever you see a Toon monster. Magician's Robe, so that's a kind of one of those supporty cards for the Dark Magician. And then Illusion Magic. This one's pretty cool. Tribute one spellcaster type monster. Add up to 2 copies of Dark Magician from your deck and or graveyard to your hand. You can only activate 1 Dark Magic or Illusion Magic per turn. So that's a pretty cool rare and pretty good for setting up stuff with Dark Magician. Ooh, that's really cool. Ebon High Magician and Scapegoat. Yeah, a lot of the desired cards from this set just got reprinted recently in the Mega Pack 16, I think it was called. I think about the most valuable card is the cover card, the Magician Knight, something like that. It's a pendulum monster, which pendulums are pretty much no longer in meta. It's funny, the pendulums dominated the Yu-Gi-Oh meta for a while when they first came out, and for so long after, and then once Link Summoning came in, the pendulum just kind of died right after. And then Spell Strider. This is kind of cool because it's like a grown-up version of Spell Strike. Or Spell Striker, I can't remember the exact name of the card. Unified Front. That's actually a short print. It's got the cool old school vintage cards and the artwork. The Blazing Apache, Invader of Darkness, the Giga Gugu, whatever you want to call his name, and then Freed the Brave Warrior. Ooh, there's an ultra rare. And so unfortunately I haven't gotten any of the good secret rares yet. There's like, I think 5 or 6 secret rares in this set, and I'm not sure exactly how many secret rares you're supposed to get per box. Because it's a foil in every pack, it's kind of weird ratios, I believe. These packs tear open really easily, like they just rip, which is kind of cool. I'm not really too concerned about saving the packs or anything, so it's nice that they open real fast. Magician's Rod, that's a cool one. Kind of goes with the Magician Robe. You've got the Dark Magician's Rod, but then like a ghost of him or a phantom of him, you know, holding it. Ooh, Spyro gear. And there we go. The Forceful Checkpoint. So this is kind of an interesting card. I'm pretty sure it's bad, but I'll read the effect on this. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, look at your opponent's hand, and if there's a monster card, negate the attack, then discard one monster from their hand, your choice. So you can negate the attack and then discard a monster, which isn't always the best thing just because of how many decks use their monsters in graveyards so often now. It can be like a nice card for when your opponent searches out a monster and adds it to their hand, and you know that they've got for sure that monster in their hand and can discard it right away. But it's too situational, I think, of a card to really ever get a whole lot of use. And then there's one of the ultra rare, the dragons. Well, not dragon, but there's the 4 like elemental ultra rare cards from this set. It reminds me of the dragon rulers. That's why I refer to it as a dragon. It's actually a flip effect too, which is pretty weird. It's because flip effects just seem like such an ancient archetype in the game. Metamorphation. Huh. Amaterasu. Not a fire type. It is a spirit though, which is cool. Dig all the spirit monsters. Magical something. What a name. Assault Black Wing. It's really weird opening these packs and then seeing half the monsters be pendulum monsters. It's just something that, like, as someone that opens up like a lot of the old school stuff, just like seeing these pendulum monsters in these packs are just really weird. Only gotten the 1 secret rare so far, so that's kind of disappointing. I'm not, like I said before, like I'm sure there's a pull ratio for the secret rares out of this set. I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping it's more than 1 per box. Ooh, Floodgate Trap Hole. When your opponent summons a monster, change the monster to face down defense position. Monsters changed to face down defense position by this effect cannot change their battle position. That's pretty decent. Another one of the Ebon High Magician. Ooh, there we go. That's a nice secret rare. Pot of Desires. So, for those of you that aren't too familiar with like the more modern cards, I'll read this effect out loud, and if you're not familiar with this card, you'll probably think it's pretty nuts, but banish 10 cards from the top of your deck face down, draw 2 cards. You can only activate 1 Pot of Desires per turn. So when you banish face down like that, the card is like actually removed from the game, because when it's face down like that, I believe it's untargetable from the banished zone. So like if you say it had a card that said special summon 1 banished monster, well, you can't target any of those face down cards because you don't know if it's a monster or not and whatnot. So when you're actually banishing a card face down like that, it's actually gone from the game for the rest of the duel. So that's a really interesting card. A Pot of Greed basically with a big hit to your deck, really, because you've got no idea what you're banishing until you actually like search through your deck for like a search card, and you can look through your deck that way. And people were doing that, if I remember correctly, that when they were running this Pot of Desires card, if they played the card already, whenever they used a search card to like search out a monster, they would look through their deck and see, like, try to figure out what they got banished and like what was gonna not be there if they were trying to search it out or trying to use a card that was from their deck to like add to their hand. Magician of Dark Illusion. So yeah, Pot of Desire, that's definitely a good card. Might actually be the most valuable out of this set. Either that or the cover card, the Magician Paladin. I'm not entirely sure. But that's cool. I'm definitely glad that we got more than just that one secret rare, because the one that we got before was probably like one of the worst secret rares. And then Spiral Super Agent. This card, back when the Spiral Agents were like really big, this probably would have been a pretty valuable card, but Spiral Agents now are kind of out of the meta and forgotten about. I'm not sure how many people like the deck or whatnot, but I don't see them really being like one of those decks that just stays around forever. So yeah, that was the opening right there. Yeah, really glad we got the Pot of Desires. That's the big one. Just a really interesting card of like, banishing 10 cards face down. That just doesn't seem like something in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's literally a fourth of your deck if you're running a 40 card deck. So it's just a really interesting card. So yeah, that was a really quick opening. It's really fun. Just open up this like really cheap set. If you are someone out there that just wants to rip open some packs, get some Yu-Gi-Oh cards and whatnot, this isn't too bad of a set. And you get some cool Dark Magician support cards that are neat, and you can get some of these actual meta cards too. I'm not sure if Pot of Desires is still in the meta or not. I believe it is, but who knows for sure. I don't play the current meta game. But as always, thank you for watching.